Welcome to Visible Value, a reference library on recognition of youth work in Europe, developed by the EU Council of Europe Youth Partnership.
I'm very thankful to Uwe Finketimpe. He expressed the will possibly to organize the third convention on the stage by the closing session in Dieppe in Brussels, 30th of April 2015. He also could not do it, but he did it. So the bottom was giving, there was a kind of guarantee. Then the Council of Europe, they organized a huge consultation meeting, like they always do. Before, and then they nominated a drafting group. I was also part of that drafting group of that recommendation on youth work. That took 2 years, also till May, the 31st of May was the resolution adopted there, by the Committee of Ministers.
In 2017, yes?
2017.
Yeah.
And the convention was April 15.
Yeah.
So it's also a long way. I liked very much the process. Also not evident was the role of the national agencies. In some views, national agencies only serve to execute and implement the regulations of the programs, and are not part of the shaping and designing of. So those were also difficult discussions. That was also new to bring on board the national agencies in settings like expert groups of the Council of Europe. So from the member state perspective, we need everyone. And the good thing also was that in the conclusions of the second declaration, the third convention was mentioned. And luckily, the German colleagues took this up not only in the EU, but also in the chairmanship. And that is a very difficult exercise, but so nice, because we need those two institutions. There is no, for us, competition. They were both feeling that they have to take their responsibility. We forced them a little bit. And that I forgot. Luckily, we had between those two institutions the partnership in the field of youth. And they played a major role for us in knowledge development, and also that was also our first place to archive all our documentation on youth work. They supported us a lot in all the things we were doing. So, we made fully use of that. Until today, they are playing a role in it. Their task is wider than that, but that is a main pillar in it. The second convention expressed the need of an European agenda for youth work. And it was very clever from our colleagues to make a political document on it and the so-called resolution to shape a framework for a European youth work agenda. And for me, that is a next milestone. So we have the first resolution 2010. We have the recommendation on youth work, the first one adopted by the Committee of Ministers in May 2017, and now we have in the Council adopted that framework for shaping an European and creating and developing a European youth work agenda. So that is, it covers not whole Europe, but I think it's a very important milestone. It recognizes also the role of everyone and underlines that when you are looking to that. One of the things in it is recognition also. But recognition is not only a role of member states or the political institutions, it's also a task of the youth work community of practice. And that's also new. That is defined. They have to play a role in the content of it, but also in the implementation and put it forward. That underlines the collective ownership in the whole process, because only then we can convince all shareholders, going from universities to employers, to trade unions, to schools, to NGOs, I don't know what, because we all need them. So there is a common ground that is bringing us together and not dividing us more. And so when we are looking at the first convention and coming from the launching of the white paper, and away from the white paper in 2001 towards the convention in 2010, we were bringing together youth workers and youth policy communities from all over Europe, and with a very, very diverse responsibility in it, and you name them all. And so, and now it's a big step forward that formally in the resolution of Germany on that framework, there is very fine described who belongs to the community of practice. And that on sich is again an recognition. And then thanks to the Bonn event and the third convention, there is a role, a specific role also in signpost for the future for that community of practitioners, and also even in the resolution of our German colleagues, and so we need them, and I'm just looking, so the cooperation in the community of practice in the member states, but also on the European level, is fundamental and important for the effectiveness of the youth work agenda, but also to influence the content of the youth work agenda and future development. So I'm very happy that it is in it, because it's together that we can that we are setting step forwards in the overall question of recognizing, and then the more critical thing is the validation. Don't forget that, because there we have to be on equal sides with the educational systems and environments. That is a totally different world, but also environments of employees. And now we are on the same level. Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this resource on recognition of youth work in Europe, brought to you by the EU Council of Europe Youth Partnership.